Let's paint. Blood Angel Red. You know it. You love it. I love it. Let's do it. All right, let's open him. Let's put him in his holder. As you can see, I have now added a third cup. We've got water with a whole bunch of dish soap, or distilled water with a bunch of dish soap, distilled water, and alcohol, 91%. I found that that little bit of dish soap sometimes helps you get details filled in a lot better than before. So, here we go. We're going to paint this thing with a paintbrush. All right. Let's give it a little bit of soap and see how we go. Okay, let's do it. Let's dig in. Okay. Yeah, we used a lot of this stuff, haven't we? That's because it's so good. All right, we're going to start off here. Let's start on the ends. Oh yeah, look at that. Look how that goes on. Oh yeah, that's going to be good. Very nice. Yep, painting by paintbrush. Not many people do this, but more of you should. Now this is a contrast paint, so the idea is I want to get it on fast while it's still, before it starts to set up, and I want to smooth it out wherever I'm ending at here, and then let it do its work by gravity. Let gravity take over. Oh crap, is I going to take this cab off? Oh wait. This is the one where the cab doesn't come off. Yeah, that's right. No problem. Okay, so we're going to go, we're probably going to just stop right there on that side. We're kind of going to go around and around. Let's get in these steps. You know, the one thing I don't have is a red shade. I should get one. I should get a red shade. I don't even know what it's called because I've never actually looked for one before. I'm sure there is one. Reichland shade, that's pretty good. That's a very warm orangish red shade. But for now, we're not going to need it. We just want to get in on here as fast as we can. As fast as we can get this on here. Now let me show you what happens if I dip my brush in the water. Okay, so I just take a tiny bit of water and I'll do it right here. It's a very watery, and it will really start to run if you do that. And that's sometimes a cool special effect. Sometimes maybe you want it to have a little bit of a shaded look to it. I'll just wipe my brush off on this. Okay. Let's hit this back side. At least a little bit. Just getting down here. Look at that, look how I'm painting this. Okay, I might as well be using a mop and a sponge. But it's gonna look nice. Can you believe that? And this way, it's fun to paint like this. Now we will do some airbrushing pretty soon because I do have a pretty nice airbrush setup. But for this kind of stuff, you get more. With this, you can do things that airbrush cannot do. There's quite a few things like this that cannot be achieved with an airbrush. So that's why it's good to do this. Okay, there we go. We're going to leave that the way it is for now, and then we're going to start going round and round. So we'll check back in a little later. Okay, let's do some dry brushing. Now, what we did, after I did that first coat, I thought, you know, I did a little water washing on it, and I got this kind of cool light top effect. Sometimes you see it on locomotives, especially like Union Pacific and BN. They've got some older locomotives where the color would be kind of washed out. I thought, let's see if we can do something like that. So what we did, if you remember on these, where we layered them, we painted the edges a lighter color. On this one, we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to try something that I haven't tried. We're going to try some Citadel dry brush, and you can use it with the layering technique. But on this one, since I've already washed it out and I didn't do a second coat, let's give it a try. And what we want to do is get these edges and see if we can't highlight them. And this isn't the final step, remember, this is just somewhere in between. So this stuff in here is kind of spongy. So you want to take kind of a round-tipped soft brush, and you just want to kind of touch it in there. It'll look like it's spongy, but then you go on your paper towel and you see you got some paint. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to hit, the first time, right after you take it out of the pot, on the paint on your brush, it's going to be kind of a lot. So let's find a spot where we can get it started. We'll go down here, and we'll just start on the bottom here. Okay, looks like it's going to be good. So now let's try it, and let's see if you can see the edges appear when I do this. If you can't, that might mean I don't have enough. Oh, there's some edge. A little bit. I could probably do just a little bit better. Just a little bit more. Not too much. Let's hit this cab. It's going to give me a very fine edging effect. This will blend in quite a bit as we keep going with our various stages of painting. But if you have not tried dry brushing before, I'll tell you what, this is easier using these Citadel dries than taking, like I did this, and I put it on a paper towel and then I brush it out till I get it dry. But these are so cheap and they're so easy to dry brush. You can't go wrong with these. So let's keep going. Sometimes we'll get a little smudge somewhere. That's not really going to matter. Okay, so you can see the edge starting to appear. And it's a pretty cool effect. Let me get those grills. Now we'll be coming back, we're going to be doing some more panel lining. And some of this dry brushing is going to get a little bit eliminated by panel lining, but not much. It's not going to affect these edges we're doing right here. But I want to give this, remember, I don't like rust buckets, so I don't want a rust bucket, but I like a little bleached effect. I want to have a bit of a bleaching. And just before you're going to get a new batch on your brush each time, sometimes you can do some flat areas that are kind of messy, like on the end here where we did the panel lining to get into these grills and stuff. See if as long as I don't have too much on my brush, okay, then I can hit these guys. And it's going to tone down the excess panel liner. I have very little paint on here now. And I'm going to go through and we give it a little bleaching. You can hardly see. The edges are mostly what you can see. Now, if you've noticed, I like to take a silver Sharpie and hit some of the hardware where it's been used. Kind of like the paint has sort of been worn off by use. And then this dulls that out a little bit, and also the panel lining will also come in and restore some of its detail. So we'll do this, we'll do some panel lining, we'll do this, we'll kind of keep going back and forth. Okay, so now we're getting kind of a neat edging effect. And when you see it in the camera here, it almost looks like it's just a lighting effect, but it's on there. This can lead to a really dusty effect that I really don't like. A lot of guys go way overboard on the dust. That, to me, that's the same as you might as well make it a rust bucket if you're going to do that. I like these kinds of things to be a lot more muted, and it'll look dusty now before we finish, and as we get into it, we're going to go back, and then some of that dustiness is going to be eliminated. But it's that easy, as long as you keep your brush nice and dry, and if you're going to clean it at all, use the alcohol, and then get it dried out again, and continue on. So we're starting to look pretty good here. Let's hit this front end. I would say that dry brushing with a combination of panel lining will give you what I think are some of the best effects of all. And dry brushing is super easy to learn. Remember when we did dry brushing on those cheap, basically toy train set box cars we picked up at the train show, and we dry brushed brown, I think burnt umber or something. Yeah, come on, let's focus on this guy. There. Not bad, not bad. Okay, dry brushing. Let's move on.